garage. Today we're going to be working on the Jeep Cherokee, like I told you in the last video. Exhaust manifold, try to figure out what's running poorly. Here's something to think about. What vehicle do you know of that the exhaust manifolds were so bad that they're still available everywhere after 20 years? It would be the 4.0 Jeep. They were awful. If the motor mounts got bad, it vibrated too much, it broke the exhaust manifold. If it got too hot, it broke the exhaust manifold. If your fat cousin got in the passenger seat, it would break the manifold. There's a link down below where I got this manifold, but we're going to be putting that on and then diagnosing what the heck is wrong with the running on it, and then going from there. Alright, so I'm getting rained out. I thought I'd look at the new exhaust manifold while it pours down rain. It's awesome. Very exciting stuff. And here it is. There's the new jewel. You can see that they put in baffles on two sides to give it, I guess, a little bit more vibration resistance so it doesn't crack this pipe right here. That's where it always cracks. So we'll see if this one holds up a little better. I pulled all the spark plugs and they are heavy carbon fouled on all 6 of them, which usually means it's been running really rich or the air mixture is wrong. If all of them are bad, that usually means it's a issue with something on the intake. If one of them's bad, then that's usually a valve. But while I've got everything off of it and down to the and all the plugs out, I might as well do a cylinder test just to eliminate that because it ain't that much further to take the head off of this stupid thing. So far all of them have been around 85 pounds, which is a little bit low for, it should be about 120, but I'm not sure that it did in this gauge. As long as they're all the same, then that's all I'm really concerned about. If they all come out about 85 pounds, then this gauge could be off 10 or 15, 20 pounds, who knows. Okay, so I ran a compression test on all the cylinders, and they were all within 5 pounds of each other. So there's no dead cylinders, and there's no cylinder that's really bad. They're all pretty much the same, which pretty much goes back to verify all of the spark plugs had the same amount of deposits on them. If you had one that was like sooted up and the rest of them were clean, then you'd know you'd have a problem with that one cylinder. However, with all of them black and nasty as they are, that's usually it's running rich. Is it the computer? You know, what's causing that? We'll go back and figure that out, but it's obviously an issue with either injectors or computer or something like that. We can go ahead and put the exhaust manifold back on and then go from there. Pretty confident that there's nothing wrong with the head itself and it's not burning any oil, so that's a good thing. I've got the radiator. I've got a new heavy-duty radiator that I'm going to put in it since I already have it. I don't think there was anything wrong with this radiator. I'm pretty sure it was the fan clutch that was just completely shot once I started looking at it, but since I got it, we might as well stick it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out, drain it, pull it out, and get the new one ready. You can see there's a huge difference in the cooling capacity of this one versus the original, which is really thin. It's getting kind of windy out here, so it's hard to film, but I'm going to go ahead and put that one in. New radiator. That one is a Haas. It goes almost up to the edge. That should help any cooling issues that we had before as far as like radiator goes. What a thrill this morning. As I was getting the hose off to replace the thermostat, I pulled on that hose a little too much and broke the valve again. I've broke it before, so I'm going to pick up one from Advanced Auto and then I can go ahead and change that out. Keep moving. Jeez. Alright, I've been kind of ciphering on this thing and I'm adding up all the symptoms of the vehicle, like running really rough, lack of power. I had put new plugs and cap and rotor on it. Obviously that didn't make much of a difference. The plugs were completely carboned out. Add on top of that the low compression across all cylinders. It should be about 120 to 150 for a 4.0, and these were all showing about 75. I'm starting to believe it could be a timing chain either jumped or just has so much slack in it that the timing has changed enough where the compression is lower. It also causes all kinds of issues with it because the computer can't compensate. So I bought another gauge. It's a Bosch, which is still made in China, and we're going to do another compression test reading, and then I'm going to go from there. Alright, so now I have the Bosch one plugged in. We're going to see how it does. Lord have mercy. All right, we're at 175. So obviously it looks like it was a bad gauge. I'm going to go ahead and check all the other cylinders to make sure that they're all within specs, and then that pretty much tells me that it's not a timing chain then. New valves in, new thermostats in. I've got 1 gallon of antifreeze in, so I can go ahead and start getting ready to put the intake exhaust back together. I went ahead and removed the O2 sensors because those can be the cause of the 51. A bad O2 sensor can cause all the problems that we're having, so might as well replace them for 40 bucks. I'll put a link down below. 40 bucks you can get all new O2 sensors. We're going to go ahead and replace those at the same time. Try to figure out what's wrong with this stinking thing. Champion copper top spark plugs. Alright, so I've made a major discovery. I almost didn't buy spark plugs and wires and cap and a tune-up kit just for the mere fact of I had just done it. Less than like 5,000 miles beforehand. It even looks brand new. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Maybe there's a bad plug. Maybe there's a bad wire. Maybe the cap's got a crack in it. But then I started looking at it when I got the plugs out. And let's take a look at that. Completely different. I got these at AutoZone. So AutoZone, get in the zone. Actually what it was AutoZone, they gave me the bone. That's what happened. They gave me the wrong plugs. I did a cross-reference on these, and this is for a Hyundai Elantra. You can see that it's much shorter on the insulator and probably super cold or something. Obviously it's going to be way up in the cylinder block, and that's probably why all this stuff I'm having problems with is because the wrong spark plugs. Thanks, AutoZone. I'm going to put these plugs in, and then we'll go ahead and finish it up. It's going to be a lot quieter, but this was probably the problem with the running, I'm going to guess. All right, I got the header all bolted up down here, gasket and everything tightened down. 2 bolts here, here. Now I'm ready to set my intake on and then put those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 bolts back in, and then the intake will be back on. So last night I worked into the dark of the night and got everything put back on the Jeep. And I could be kind of a douche and say, well, let's try to see if it starts. But, you know, of course I started it last night. And let's show you how it came out. Let's do it before. You can tell it's got a pretty good exhaust leak. That's the air sucking in for the intake, but I can really hear that fan. Big difference in the fan clutch as far as like pulling air in. You can see that there's very little room in between the fan and this big old honking radiator. Everything turned out really nice. Let's take it for a test drive. Running pretty dang good and quiet. So much more quiet, that's for sure. The one thing I like about this Jeep is that it runs like a scalded dog when it's running well. That 6-cylinder is a beast. Oh yeah, it's a million times better. No big noise, no, it's quiet. And she'll scoot. Woo! Now I do want to do a transmission service on it because it might have gone to Walmart and they could have put Dextron in it and totally gonna fry the transmission. So I'm gonna do a transmission service on it. Doing some cleaning. Let's take a look at the wheels. That's the before wheel, pretty much how they look right now. And I did a real quick paint job on this one, put the center caps on it and new lug nuts, and it looks quite a bit better, I think. That's going to be a big difference, and mostly just cleaning the crap out of it, and I'm going to do an oil change on it, but the Cherokee is in far better shape than before. And what I would say is that I got totally screwed over by AutoZone. I never would have thought that the plugs they gave me were the wrong ones, right? Because it's like, how hard is it? It's a parts store. And truthfully, I didn't even look at them that close. I just put them in, which was, I guess, my fault.
of not verifying that they gave me the right spark plug when I said give me the spark plugs for a 98 Jeep Cherokee. I mean, how hard could that be? Evidently, it's really hard. And the other part is, why did I go ahead and order all new plugs when those only had 1,000 miles on them? I don't know, but I'm sure as heck lucky that I did, because that was the 99% of the problems with the Jeep. Besides the noise from the cracked exhaust manifold, the spark plugs were what was causing a lot of the running issues. So I got a little bit more work to do on it, and it'll be either sold or driven or something, but it will be ready to go. Keep watching, I got a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.